believe it's close enough 6 o'clock there. I want to welcome everybody that's joining us live on our Facebook page there as well. We are now going back into another virtual council meeting, and we'll see whether this lasts for 2 weeks or maybe another 4 weeks there, so we'll see. But I will call the meeting to order, and I'll ask the clerk for the roll call, please.
Good evening, Your Worship. All members are present.
Thank you very much. Item number 3 is review of revisions or deletions to the agenda. Anything need to add or delete from the agenda at this point? Seeing and hearing nothing, we'll go into item number 4, the approval of the agenda. I got a motion moved by Councillor Jelly, second by Councillor Whalen. Be it resolved that City Council approves the agenda as printed. Anybody opposed to that motion? Hearing not, we'll move on to item number 5, the disclosure of pecuniary interest of general nature. Is there any conflict of interest tonight? Logan at all? Nothing?
Oh, no conflicts reported. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6 is review and adoption of the council minutes, and I got a motion moved by Councillor MacArthur, second by Councillor Foley. Be it resolved that City Council approves the following minutes as printed. A, the regular meeting of council was held on December the 15th, 2020. Any comments on the set of minutes at all? Any errors or omissions? Anybody opposed to that motion? We'll consider that motion carried. Item number 7, there's no public meetings pursuant to the Planning Act, Municipal Act, or other statutes. We've reached the first question and answer period. I don't know whether there's anything on the chat box at this point, Shelley.
Nothing yet, Mayor Kidd.
Okay, thank you very much. There are no presentations. We'll jump right into the communications. 10A is a letter from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario regarding the discussion paper on the proposed integrated management approach to plastic products to prevent waste and pollution. That was received on December the 9th for our information. 10B is a letter from General Rick Hillier, the chair of the COVID-19 vaccine distribution task force. It's regarding Ontario's vaccine distribution implementation plan, received on December the 12th for our information. 10C is a letter from Stacey Blair, town clerk for the town of Carleton Place, regarding the post-pandemic recovery plan and childcare. And that was received on December the 14th for our information. 10D is a letter from Barbara Noth, the deputy clerk treasurer for the township of Matachewan. That's regarding municipal funding opportunities and application timelines, and that was received on December the 14th for our information. 10E is a letter from John Yakubuski, the Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry, regarding the Temiskaming Forest Management Corporation approval from Cabinet. That was received on December the 15th for our information. 10F is a letter from the Honourable Todd Smith, the Minister of Children, Community and Social Services, regarding building a strong foundation for success, reducing poverty in Ontario, and that was received on December the 16th for information. 10G is a letter from the Honourable Carolyn Mulroney, Minister of Transportation, regarding Phase 2 update of the Safe Restart Agreement, funding for public transit, and that was received on December the 15th as well. That's been referred to the Treasurer and the Transit Committee. 10H is a letter from the Honourable Steve Clark, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, regarding the discussion paper on a new regulatory proposal to implement recent amendments to the Drainage Act, received on December the 16th, and that's been referred to the clerk. 10I is a letter from the Honourable Steve Clark as well, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, regarding the Safe Restart Agreement and top-up allocation. And that was received on December the 16th and referred to the Treasurer to sign the acknowledgement. We've done that. 10J is a letter from the Ottawa River Regulation Planning Board regarding the fall river conditions. And that was received on December the 18th for our information. 10K is My Catch Tournaments. It's regarding the Ontario Ice Fishing Challenge, received on December the 18th for our information. 10L, a letter from C. Tarling, the Director of Legislative Services and City Clerk for the City of Kitchener, looking for support for the distance separation for licensed cannabis stores, received on December the 18th for our information. 10M is a letter from Ernie Hardiman, Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, regarding updates to the Ontario Wildlife Damage Compensation Program. That's received on December the 21st. For our information, also referred to the Municipal Clerk. 10N is a letter from Sandra Kitchen, the Deputy Clerk Council of Services for the town of Kingsville, regarding support for a letter of support for small businesses, received on December 21st for information. 10O was a letter from the actually the financial reports from the Temiskaming Regional Airport Authority for October 2020 and also November 2020 for information. And 10Q is a late letter from Amy DiMatteo, the Director General for FedNor. And it's regarding their contribution to the City of Temiskaming Shores for the virtual Northern Ontario Showcase at the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada Convention. It's received on December the 22nd. And there's a bylaw to be presented for consideration on section 16 of the bylaws. So, a motion moved by Councilor Ferrier, second by Councilor Hewitt. Be resolved the City Council agrees to deal with communication items 10A through 10P according to the agenda references. Unless there's any comments on those sets of correspondence.
If I could, Your Worship, Councillor Jelly, I would ask that item K be referred to Economic Development and Recreation for an opinion. I understand this might not be a good year to go into this, but I'd like to like them to have a look at it and maybe let us know how they feel there. And then item H from the Deputy Clerk of the Town of Kingsville, a letter of support for small businesses. Again, this hinges on what goes on in Ontario and whether or not we come out of this lockdown or we go into a longer one. But I would ask that that letter be brought to, or that motion be brought back to the next council meeting for further discussion. We all know our small businesses are suffering here. So,
what item was that? That wasn't H, Doug, was it?
JKMN. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
K and N.
K and N. Okay.
K and N. Yes. If I could, please, Your Worship. I may not have a lot of comment next time, but I particularly think the letter of support for small businesses is much more encompassing than small businesses. The competition that's going on with the large box stores are certainly hurting. And I was raised in an area in which good for the goose is good for the gander. And it seems that that's not the way things are being shut down or controlled. So I'd just like to have that come back for a little more discussion. Thank you.
Certainly. Okay. K and N. So any other comments? That direction. Is there anybody opposed to that motion? We'll consider that motion carried. Item number 11, the Committees of Council, Community and Regional. I got a motion moved by Councilor MacArthur, second by Councilor Jelly. Be resolved that the following minutes be accepted for information. A, the minutes of the Liskeard Business Improvement Area Board of Management meeting that was held on November the 16th, 2020. And B, the minutes of the Temiskaming Regional Airport Authority meetings held on October the 22nd and also on November the 12th, 2020. Any comments on those two sets of minutes? Anybody opposed to those two sets of minutes? Hearing none, we'll consider that carried as well. Item number 12 is the Committees of Council Internal Departments. We have none. Any reports from members of council tonight?
Yeah, if I may, Mayor Kidd.
Yes, sir. Yes, go ahead, Councilor Whalen.
Quickly, with the new lockdown, TMA will probably not be having as far as I know, a full district meeting because we bring people from too far out. So, but I'm assuming there will be an executive meeting, so we'll update council at that time.
Okay, thank you.
If I could, Your Worship, just
yes, sir.
Good a time as any to do a report. All I would like to do is just make sure that Mark Desereau from Deal Crashers gets a big thanks from council. For the New Year's Eve fireworks that they put on around the lake. I certainly attended, and I can tell you where I was watching it, there was lots of people, but everybody was very cognizant of the masks and social distancing and what have you. The comments that came back, I would like to thank Mark. I think he pulled a lot of people out of 2020 and got us moving into 2021, at least with a smile on our face and perhaps an end to what we're getting. So thanks, Mark, and your team for all that hard work.
Yeah, same for me. We were down by the Fall Fairgrounds. There were lots of people down there parking and walking onto the ice there. Very well done, and it's quite a show, actually. So thank you, Mark. Any other comments tonight?
Yeah, Your Worship, even along those same lines. So it was more than just the fireworks. Even earlier in the day at 3 o'clock, seeing everybody out on the lake, with a number of different activities, it was really, really, really nice to see us, end 2020 on a positive note and really bring in, 2021. So yes, thank you so much, Mark, for such a great idea and really bringing the community together.
Yeah, the video from the helicopter was posted on Facebook there, and it showed a lot of people out there. So it was good.
All I'll add to that is I was the guy on the shore with the big stick waving.
So, do you have a big fire as well? So,
No.
no. So, any other reports, members of council? If not, we'll move on to any notice of motions tonight. Moving into the new business, we got a couple, or at least one long resolution here that I'll read. It's looking for support for the request for an interim cap on gas plant and greenhouse gas pollution and the development and implementation of a plan to phase out gas-fired electricity generation. And the draft resolution is moved by Councillor Whalen, second by Councillor Hewitt. Whereas at its meeting on November the 11th, 2020, Hamilton City Council approved a resolution regarding a request for an interim cap on gas plant and greenhouse gas pollution and the development and implementation of a plan to phase out gas-fired electricity generation. And whereas the government of Ontario is planning to increase reliance on gas-fired electricity generation from Ontario's gas-fired power plants, which is anticipated to increase greenhouse gas pollution by more than 300% by 2025 and by more than 400% by 2040. And whereas Canada's temperature is rising more than double the rate of the rest of the world, which is in alignment with climate models and projections impacting northern climates, and most significantly, and whereas the province of Ontario will adversely impact more than a third of the greenhouse gas reductions it achieved by phasing out its dirty coal-fired power plants due to a power plant built around ramping up gas-fired generation to replace the output of the Pickering nuclear plant and scheduled to close 2024. And whereas alternative options are available to reverse short-sighted cuts to energy efficiency programs and stop underinvesting in this quick to deploy and low cost resource, which include maximizing our energy efficiency efforts by paying up to the same price per kilowatt hour for energy efficiency measures as we are currently paying for power from nuclear plants, i.e. up to 9.5 cents per kilowatt hour. And whereas the province of Ontario should continue to support renewable energy projects at a cost that are below what we are now paying for nuclear power and work with communities to make the most of these economic opportunities. And whereas the province of Ontario has alternative options to increase gas-fired electricity generation, such as the province of Quebec's offer to receive low-cost 24/7 power from its water-powered reservoir system as a possible alternative. And whereas a fossil-free electricity system is critically important to Hamilton's efforts to reduce GHG emissions by replacing fossil fuel use of electric vehicles, electric buses, electric heat pumps, and other steps depending on a fossil-free electricity supply. And whereas our City of Hamilton staff have noted that this problem is in their report on updated timelines and smart corporate goals and areas of focus for climate mitigation and adaptation, where they warn that unless the province of Ontario changes direction on Ontario's fuel supply mix, it is expected natural gas and therefore GHG emissions may continue to increase as the nuclear facilities are refurbished and the province of Ontario further supplements the electricity grid with natural gas inputs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Corporation of the City of Temiskaming Shores hereby supports the City of Hamilton in its request to the Government of Ontario to place an interim cap of 2.5 megatons per year on our gas plant and greenhouse gas pollution, and develop and implement a plan to phase out all gas-fired electricity generation by 2030 to ensure that Ontario meets its climate targets. And further, that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Honourable Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, John Bantoff, the MPP for Temiskaming Cochrane, and the City of Hamilton. Any discussion on that resolution? Anybody opposed to that resolution? Hearing none, we'll consider that motion carried. 15B is support for the Gravel Watch Ontario, and the information regarding the aggregate extraction, planning, and rehabilitation. This was deferred from the December 15th, 2020 meeting. And the resolution was moved by Councillor MacArthur, second by Councillor Foley. Be resolved that the Corporation of the City of Temiskaming Shores supports the position of Gravel Watch Ontario, requesting that the Government of Ontario consult municipalities and communities more broadly to develop and implement regulations which will evaluate and rationalize the supply and demand equation for stone, sand, and gravel, and that regulations need to be applied consistently and clearly, as the lack of clarity is currently costing municipalities and communities, and that the commitment for the rehabilitation of dormant and abandoned pits to their best possible use is made at the time of licensing, and that the province needs to be more responsive and more responsible to residents, communities, and their municipalities which represent them. And further, that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Honorable John Yakubowski, the Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry, the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, and John Vantoff, MPP for Temiskaming Cochrane. So, was there enough information on the package to answer some of the questions from the last council meeting?
Yeah, if I may, Mayor Kidd, I'd like to speak to this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just, I had asked where exactly what Gravel Watch is. Is it a pay-as-you-go company? There's very little information available for it. And there's some statement made that says the regulations need to be applied consistently and clearly, as the lack of clarity is currently costing municipalities and communities. It doesn't give any examples of how this is happening. Is that a true statement, or?
I didn't really think we'd really answered any of those questions that we had the last council meeting there. So,
Yeah, I think this was actually from 2 council meetings ago. I think Councillor Hewitt asked it to be brought back, but there's very little information available for Gravel Watch. And like I say, all the suggestions they're making about how the costs are being driven up. If you look locally with our aggregate companies, you know, we make far more in corporate donations than we ever would in aggregate royalties. I think they're very good corporate citizens. So I don't know where a lot of this, they're not accusations, but they just seem to be very unclear statements.
other comments? I mean, that was my opinion as well, but other comments from other councillors?
Mayor Kidd, I agree with Councillor Whalen and yourself. There's question marks all around this, and I really don't think that we can move on with this particular motion.
Any other comments? We can
Rather than stay mute, I agree with what has been said so far.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
Councillor Whalen brought that up at the last meeting also.
I mean, if we vote against this motion, it'll be turned down, and we'll move on to other discussion. Maybe get some more information on what's happening within our gravel pits as well. So we maybe, Mr. Simmons, maybe if the clerk will do a record vote, we can actually get this recorded virtually.
Certainly. Councillor Hewitt.
Are you muted, Councillor Hewitt? Okay.
Councillor Foley.
Opposed.
Councillor Jelly. Councillor Jelly.
You still muted there,
Opposed.
Doug?
Opposed. Did you get me?
Councillor, thank you.
Yep.
Councillor
Okay.
LaFerrier.
Opposed.
Councillor MacArthur.
Opposed.
Councillor Whalen.
Opposed.
Mayor Kidd.
Opposed?
Your worship, the motion is defeated.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number C, the January to December 2020 year-to-date capital finance report. And I got a motion moved by Councillor LaFerrier, second by Councillor Foley. Be resolved that the Council of the City of Twisting Shores hereby acknowledge receipt of the January to December 2020 year-to-date capital finance report for information purposes. Any comments on the financial reports? A lot of good projects for finishing up this year. So Anybody opposed to this motion? We will consider it carried. Moving on to 15D, this memo 001-2021 CS, the council attendance report and the 2019 statement of remuneration. And that was requested at December 1st, 2020 regular meeting. And I got a motion moved by Councillor MacArthur, seconded by Councillor Jelly. Be it resolved, the council for the city of Twisting Shores acknowledge receipt of the memo 001-2021 CS for information purposes. So any comments on that report?
Yeah, if I
Councillor
may, Ed?
Go ahead, Councillor Whalen.
Yeah, I really appreciate the report and all the information in it. One thing I do want to clarify, though, I had made a comment quite some time ago in reports by members with regards to TMA, because when we have a Temiskaming or a northern issue that has to be spoken to at Queen's Park, I'm usually the representative that's at Queen's Park, and it's held the same day as the TMA meeting. So if you go into the TMA minutes that I went in for the last 2 years into the city website, if you check their minutes, there's also a set of executive minutes attached. And I've attended all the executive meetings. And that's the agreement with the executive is I'll either attend the executive meeting or the TMA meeting, depending on if I have to speak at Queen's Park or not. So actually my own calendar, I show I've attended 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7 TMA meetings, whereas this report only shows 2. I'm not asking for the report to be changed, but I did clarify that quite some time ago. So I just wanted to make that statement.
Yeah, we probably should just amend that report there to show that the executive met on a number of different dates there as well. And maybe if you could provide those dates, Councillor Whalen, we could just add that as an amendment there.
Yeah,
So I don't, that's something that Kelly and Chris did not look into, was the executive meeting minutes.
yeah, no, I'm sure staff would just ask to check the TMA minutes, and that's fine. I'm not complaining at all. I just wanted to publicly state that the city has been regularly attending TMA, not as shown in this report. So
Yeah. Okay. No, we appreciate your efforts there, Dan, and the executive was also phenomenal as well. So thank you, sir.
Mayor Kidd?
Yes, Councillor MacArthur.
Yes, I would just like to thank our staff for getting all the statistics and everything put together. And I think this is really, really great to let the taxpayers know that some folks think we just have 2 meetings a week and a month. And I don't think that after them looking at this or seeing it, how many committees there really are and how many councillors have different duties over and above just going to council meetings. So I think it's a very good education, and I think that I think it'll open a lot of taxpayers' eyes to see just how many committees and what we do other than appear here on Tuesday, every other Tuesday.
Thank you, sir. I know I got a couple of emails today just thanking us for participating in all these committees, and they didn't realize how many committees you were actually working on there. So any other comments?
How do I get my thing to go? Just a minute.
Anybody opposed to this motion? If not, we'll consider it carried. 15E is Administrative Report CS 001-2021, the Health and Safety Policy and Program. And the motion was moved by Councillor Hewitt, second by Councillor Whalen. Be it resolved, the Council for the City of Twisting Shores acknowledge receipt of Administrative Report CS 001-2021. The Council confirms it has reviewed the City of Twisting Shores Health and Safety Policy and Guidelines for the structure and function of the Joint Health and Safety Committee in accordance with the Occupational Health and Safety Act. And the Council acknowledges that the Joint Health and Safety Committee will continue to operate under the requirements of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Any comments on that motion? Anybody opposed? We will consider that one carried. 15F, Administrative Report CS 002-2021, the Violence and Harassment in the Workplace. And I got a motion moved by Councillor Jelly, second by Councillor Ferrier. Be it resolved, the Council for the City of Twisting Shores acknowledge receipt of Administrative Report CS 002-2021. And the Council confirms it has reviewed the City of Twisting Shores violence in the workplace, harassment, and violent violence in the workplace, harassment and violence in the workplace prevention program in accordance with the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Anybody opposed to that motion? Hearing none, we'll consider that motion carried, and we'll move on to 15G, Administrative Report CS 003 2021, the ICON funding for Diamond Industrial Park. This is something James has been working on the last 2 or 3 weeks. The motion moved by Councillor Foley, second by Councillor Hewitt. Be it resolved, the Council for the City of Temiskaming Shores acknowledge receipt of Administrative Report CS 003 2021, and the Council supports an application to the ICON program in partnership with Eastlink Communications to serve the Diamond Industrial Park with high-speed broadband service. Any comments on that resolution? Anybody opposed to it? We will consider that carried. And finally, 15H, Memo 001 2021 PW, the delegation of authority to sole source. And it's motion moved by Councillor MacArthur, second by Councillor Whalen. Be resolved that the Council for the City of Temiskaming Shores acknowledge receipt of Memo 001 2021 PW, and the Council hereby delegates authority to the Manager of Transportation Services to purchase 2 used garbage trucks within the approved budget limit of $120,000, including sole source options resulting from auctions or online sales. Any comments on that resolution? Anybody opposed to it? We'll consider that one carried. We'll move on to item number 16, the bylaws. And I got a draft resolution moved by Councillor
Carmen or Mayor
Yep.
Kidd.
Yes.
I forgot 2021-003. I have to declare conflict on that.
Yes, you're right.
That bylaw. Sorry about
Okay.
that. I totally forgot.
Not a problem. We'll maybe deal with that one first right now. So, and that's item number 3. Okay. So motion, we'll use the same mover and second. Moved by Councillor LaFleur, second by Councillor Whalen, that bylaw 2021-003 being a bylaw to authorize an agreement between the corporation of the City of Temiskaming Shores and the management / non-union employees of the City of Temiskaming Shores. And Jesse declared a conflict in that one. Anybody opposed to that motion? We will consider that carried, and we'll move over to the other resolution moved by Councillor Jelly, second by Councillor. Can we get another seconder for that resolution to approve the second reading of the bylaws? Councillor Jelly was going to move that. Can we get a seconder?
Sure, Carmen, I'll second it.
Councillor Ferrier. So be it resolved that bylaw 2021-003 be given third and final reading, be signed by the mayor and clerk, and the corporate seal affixed thereto. Anybody opposed? That would be carried. Thank you. Councillor Foley declares conflict on that particular bylaw as well. So going back to original resolution moved by Councillor Ferrier, second by Councillor Whalen, be it resolved that bylaw 2021-001 being a bylaw to authorize borrowing from time to time to meet current expenditures during the fiscal year ending December the 31st, 2021. Bylaw 2021-002 being a bylaw to provide for an interim tax levy for the payment of taxes and to establish penalties and interest charges. Bylaw 2021-004 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of the transfer payment agreement for the municipal transit enhanced cleaning between Her Majesty the Queen and Right of the Province of Ontario, represented by the Ministry of Transportation for the Province of Ontario and the Corporation of the City of Temiskaming Shores. And lastly, bylaw 2021-005 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of the contribution agreement for the virtual Northern Ontario Mining Showcase 2021 Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada International Convention between Her Majesty the Queen and Right of Canada, represented by the Minister of Economic Development and Official Languages, and the Corporation of the City of Temiskaming Shores. These bylaws be hereby introduced and given first and second reading. So, anybody opposed to those sets of bylaws? We will consider that carried. And moving back to the third and final reading of bylaw, be it resolved that bylaw 2021-001, 002, 004, and 005 be given third and final reading, be signed by the mayor and clerk, and the corporate seal affixed thereto. And that was moved by Councillor Jelly and Councillor Foley, seconded. Any comments on those 4 bylaws? So anybody oppose that motion? Hearing none, we'll consider that passed as well. So, scheduled meetings. Now, we don't know whether, depending on how the lockdown goes here, we'll find out whether we're still in lockdown for the January 19th meeting or whether we're going back to the council chambers, but very well could be doing another virtual meeting on January 19th at 6 p.m. And then the first meeting in February is February the 2nd at 6 p.m. as well. So any questions on the chat line there, Shelley?
Yes, I have 2. So one from Dan Dawson. Given
Okay.
the COVID restrictions right now, people are getting out on the streets and walking more than usual. So he's asking, with the milder weather, can city public works plow the residential streets to make our streets safer to walk on?
Well, I think our public works do a pretty good job there. I know there were some comments over the weekend when people were actually on holidays, and then the Boxing Day holiday on Monday when it actually had arrived on Monday there. So, I mean, there was some snow that was falling on that day that maybe should have been plowed off, but they got to realize that it is a stat holiday there as well. So I think that for the most part, I mean, our public works have been out and does a pretty good job of plowing the snow. So if there is issues, definitely contact me and I'll see if I can't sort them out. And the second question?
Okay, and the second question from Rob Ritchie. He's wondering why the city is purchasing 2 garbage trucks.
I know the Public Works is replacing an old truck that they're using, and it's reached its end of its life there, so we're purchasing a new one to replace that one. And also the Recreation Department is looking at ordering a larger garbage truck to replace just the pickup truck they use now. They're taking a pickup truck and a trailer to run around and pick up all the garbage. So rather than use the pickup truck and the trailer, they want to actually buy this 3/4 ton or 1 ton garbage truck. So it's more of an efficiency thing than anything else there.
And if I can, Your Worship, noted that these trucks are going to be purchased, hopefully used and at auction, a much lower price than purchasing new. They're not new garbage trucks that we're authorizing to buy.
And this is all part of our fleet replacement plan there as well. So I mean, these are all scheduled to be replaced on certain timelines there. So same with all of our equipment. So nothing. Yes, Chris?
I think there was some confusion with the terminology garbage truck. So these
yes,
are trucks that are used to pick up garbage that are in the bins, the barrels and that around town. They are not not a garbage truck like what Fippens has under contract with the city. So I think there was some confusion with the terminology. So these are really a 3 ton and a 1 ton truck that we'd be using in our normal operations.
And they have a dump box on them just to dump the garbage when they get to the landfill there.
Yes.
Okay.
The other thing, Mr. Dawson did clarify, it was more the shoulders of the roads. So particularly in areas, so I believe what he's addressing is areas in the municipality where there are no sidewalks or where the sidewalks are not plowed regularly, that with more people out, he was wondering if either the shoulders or snow could be removed from the shoulders, which typically we don't do as part of our winter operations, but he did offer some clarity on that in his comment.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of a budget, whether or not we can afford to go and pick up all the snow from every road in the municipalities. We try to do mainly the downtowns where the people are trying to get to the storefronts and that, but it's, I know a lot of our streets don't have sidewalks, and that's still an issue. We're trying to, a new developer we're looking at bringing sidewalks in the Staddle Trail now. They're trying to get that all snow plowed as well, but so people can actually use that Staddle Trail year round as well. So especially up in the Grant Drive and along the research property there as well. So, but, no, it's all a matter of budget and time for the public works staff there. So. But if they do have issues and they want me to discuss it, please give me a call there. So, any other questions, comments?
Yeah, it's Patricia. Is there any consideration for clearing the boardwalk down by for the beach gardens? Like there's a lot of individuals that walk, and I know that obviously we wouldn't want to hurt the boardwalk, but where the or where the pavement section is, perhaps that could be cleared. I see a lot of individuals out there walking, and there's also a lot of traffic around there. So when it's too much snow, often they're around the streets by the the little golf course, whereas we could definitely have that plowed as a street throughout. And I've seen a lot of skidoos playing around there as well as ice huts. And I thought we had a designated spot for ice huts to be taken out on the ice. So
Most times they use the boat launch when they're taking the ice out there,
those-
but I know we've had questions before as to why we don't plow the snow off the Staddle Trail. And that's a matter of the frost getting down there and actually heaving and breaking up the pavement. So we've got to leave that snow cover on the Staddle Trail. And the boardwalk, it's a matter of, I guess we only have the 3 sidewalk plows, and they've got their routes that they do on a daily or weekly basis there. So we don't have enough equipment to actually go around and ever clear off the boardwalk or anything with any of our equipment. So we don't have the staff either at this point. So but I don't know. I mean, we're trying to do what we can as far as recreation, as far as the outdoor skating rinks, and trying to pick up wherever the snow, where we can pick up the snow there. But so I think people have to realize we live in Northern Ontario, and we've got to put up with the snow and be able to walk through, whether it's snowshoes or whatever. But so, any other questions from council tonight? Seeing none. Any more questions on the chat line at all, Shelley?
There are none.
Okay. Well, we've got a confirming bylaw moved by Councilor Hewitt, second by Councilor MacArthur. Be resolved that bylaw 2021-006 being a bylaw to confirm certain proceedings of the council of the corporation of the city of St. George for its regular meeting held on January the 5th, 2021. Be hereby introduced and given first and second reading. Anybody opposed to that motion? We will consider that carried. We've got a motion, or draft motion moved by Councilor Ferrier, second by Councilor Whalen. Be resolved that bylaw 2021-006 be given third and final reading, be signed by the mayor and clerk, and the corporal seal affixed thereto. Anybody opposed to that motion? And if there's nothing else, and people are going to enjoy the Canada-Russia junior hockey game later on tonight there, if they can stay awake, so we'll adjourn this meeting and let them get into the hockey game. So we've got a motion moved by Councilor Foley, second by Councilor Jelly. Be resolved that council hereby adjourns at 7:37 or 6:37.
Mayor,
Yes.
Mayor, it's Canada playing the United States at
Oh.
9:30.
I'll wake you guys up with the score. It's on later.
I have no comment. We're probably still live, Jesse. I'm much too polite.
Some of us may have to have a nap before the game there. Well, thanks everybody for joining virtually again there. I mean, it's things we have to do in order to stay safe, and I'm just hopefully everybody else can stay at home as much as possible and avoid contact with as many people as they can there, and hopefully we can get the vaccines out in the next 3 or 4 months and start vaccinating, especially our seniors home from that. So everybody stay safe, and we'll see everybody at the next council meeting. Thank you very much.
Seniors, homes, and seniors, your worship.